Welcome to the 50th episode of Sparkcast. Yeah.
Woo!
Be
50
excited, everyone.
years of Sparkcast.
Oh my God.
50 years.
God. In 50 years, I'll be
Uh,
89.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I just turned just a week ago.
Happy birthday.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations. I just realized what you said. You're not a zombie, but you are
Yeah.
now among your majority, because I've been that age since January.
For our 50th episode, I thought we'd do something fun and that we would watch these two OVAs called RobotMasters, no space between RobotMasters. Maybe because Robot Space Masters are two generic words that can't be copyrighted. Who knows? But basically, this was a series of figures in Japan in the year 2004, and it's just a collection of figures from Transformers all across the multiple cartoons they've had. All the Beast Wars from Japan and America had gone off the air, and so now there was no more Transformers. I think the live-action movie might have been in development for 5-6 years, who knows? But I do know that after the Beast Wars stuff, I think there was a little bit of a lull, wasn't there? Never mind, I'm completely wrong. There was Armada, there was the trilogy, the Armada, Energon, and Galaxy Force. Never mind. So this is after all those ended. Go edit all that out. But
Yeah, if you don't know, I mean, we won't know.
okay. So anyway, so basically all that trilogy of those had just finished. Armada was animated, and Energon was that CG with the weird 2D highlights that hadn't really been popularized yet, but people were trying out. And then Galaxy Force was just straight CG the third year. I don't follow the toys. I just know that this OVA was made and packaged with the toys, one of the Optimus figures or combo packs. And so they were basically two OVAs made that came with the toys. And one of them, I think one of them was also released in a magazine from what it said. So basically you have a 1 minute or so summary of the plot of the storyline that happens in Robot Masters in both episodes, followed by the episode we watched. But at the end of episode 1, it's like a 5-minute compilation of Beast Wars, Optimus Primal and Megatron fighting, and a few other random fights for 5 minutes. I'm like, okay. Whereas the end of the second OVA just has everybody changing and shows who voiced them. But then the actual middle content is the episode that's about 7 minutes long that is just random Transformers from all across the Transformers universe fighting in CG.
Well, there's two episodes, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah, and two of them, they were about 6 minutes each.
What did you guys think of them? Just so we're just watching we're just going based on the Japanese raws right now. There is no subtitled fan translation of these two OVAs.
It looks like they just wanted to throw Beast Wars in there with Transformers and just mix it all up. And let's have Beast Wars, Optimus, Beast Prime, or whatever his name is. I can't remember now.
Beast Prime.
Beast Prime. And Optimus Prime come together and like fight together as a team. And what was that? Rebirth Megatron and regular Megatron.
I mean, for me, it was hard to follow. The first episode had a lot more characters than the second episode. The second episode, I believe, was a lot more straightforward, where it was just a bunch of Optimuses versus a bunch of Megatrons.
But it was also so overpacked with, like, there were 5 Optimuses, and then only 2 Megatrons. So it's like, and in the first OVA, it's just 1 Megatron and 4 Optimuses. So you're just like, what the heck? Why is it so? And instead, all the Decepticons are like, it's just Beast Wars Megatron, and he's aided with Generation 1 Starscream, along with Giant Bomb, Smoke Sniper, and some other guy I forgot already because he's forgettable.
Yeah, I have the names here. So I guess in the first one there was Beast Megatron, Starscream, Gigant Bomb, Smoke Sniper, and Wing Stun. And they were fighting against G1 Convoy, Beast Convoy, Star Saber, and Victory Leo.
So it's actually Star Saber. That's a typo.
Nah.
Yeah, Star Saber.
Yeah, Star Saber. Like,
I think in Japan,
saber.
that's what they call it, Star Saver. And you could hear them saying Saver, and it was in all the type stuff.
Okay.
Star
So
Saber.
I forget. I'll start with the boring Transformers. So Giant Bomb, apparently he showed up in the very final Transformers Zone OVA that was supposed to be a pilot for a new Transformers series that never went anywhere. But his model was reused in the Japanese Beast Wars cartoon that I've been watching that was finally fan translated like 3 years ago. And they changed it. They basically just recolored him and named him BB. And he is partners with Beast Wars Starscream, and they merged together to form like the 2 flying things. And then they introduced Smoke Sniper. I'm like, this just looks like Beast Wars Starscream with a new coat of paint. So I was like, and he's connecting to Giant Bomb like BB does. I was like, this is weird. And then I look up that Smoke Sniper is the only truly original character created in these shows, as well as for the RobotMasters figure line, even though he is just a recolor of Wars 2 Starscream, himself being a recolor of Smokescreen. So I'm just like, wouldn't this have been a lot cooler if they would have just had Beast Wars Starscream? Because then it would have made more sense to have 2 Starscreams, 2 Megatrons, instead of like just 1 Megatron and like 5 Optimuses.
That is true. I think they were trying to go for a double of every character or something in this, but yeah, that was pretty weak. And the name doesn't even like grip you. Smoke Sniper. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
well, maybe it does in Japanese, but
yeah, I might have to look. I forgot the other guy even existed that you mentioned.
Wing Stun.
God, I'm gonna have to look up.
Yeah, they're all these characters were, well, outside of, Megatron, Starscream, and Optimus. All these characters were new to me. I've never heard any of these guys. I've heard of Victory Leo and Star Saber, but I don't understand.
Just real quick, I guess he's the second original character for RobotMasters. That the guy you mentioned, whose name I already forgot when you told me. Oh my god,
Wing Stun?
Yeah, Wing Stun. Yes.
Is that Wing Stun's double Star Saber?
Yeah. So obviously, do you guys know who Optimus Prime is? And you know who Optimus Primal is?
Mm-hmm.
But have you guys ever? You guys probably don't know who the other Optimuses are, I'm assuming.
So are they Optimuses?
Yeah, you see,
Victory Leo is Optimus?
Victory Leo is actually the second form of God Ginrai from the Godmasters show, the second Japanese show. It's his second form that he gets. Star Saber is the main character in the third show, and God Ginrai shows up again in that show and gets his second form in that show.
Okay, but
and becomes Leo whatever. I don't remember his name.
Victory.
And he looks nothing like an Optimus anymore.
So are they supposed to be an Optimus, or are they just the leader of this particular set of Transformers?
Well, if you want to get into the continuity, originally God Ginrai was supposed to be a secondary form for Optimus, but Optimus died before they could give him a mega form that would make him bigger. And instead, a human on Earth became the engine for this robot that at the very end of the show, you gain sentience and flies off to join the Decepticon Autobot battle, and now he's his own character and not just controlled by a human. And he looks exactly like Optimus Prime, but bigger. And then they changed his design to not look like Optimus Prime in Victory. And then Starsaber, he's the leader, main character, but he's also not a Prime.
Okay. All right.
But then you see the guy. I like the one Optimus, the one Lio Convoys, the guy with the giant like shoulder pad of fur with the lion head and the insignia on his chest.
Yeah.
I just really like that guy's design. I like wouldn't mind having that guy as a figure. And he's from the Japanese Beast Wars 2 series that aired in Japan alongside the American Beast Wars that they made because Beast Wars was only going to have not enough episodes to air a weekly show for 1 year in Japan. So they went and made their own show, which aired concurrently with Beast Wars, that might or might not make sense in a continuity as both shows went on. Because they didn't know what the American writers were doing.
I don't think the direction that the American show went in is wild, and there's no chance the Japanese show ties into that.
and in the it's funny because they actually Optimus Primal does show up in one of the episodes of the Japanese Beast Wars 2 or the movie, I can't remember which one, because of time travel. Pretty much the plot of this RobotMasters thing.
I just wish they had just putting this all together. It just made me think that, like, man, I wish they were able to come up with more, I don't know, unique names for the different iterations of Optimus. Because hearing the phrase G1 Convoy like 50 times, it's like, man, that's not a good name. Just G1 Convoy.
Did the other characters call him G1 Convoy?
Yes, the other Optimus
Oh my God.
and Megatron would shout G1 Convoy all the time.
That's something that makes sense as viewers, us calling him G1.
Yes.
But in the actual universe, calling him G1 Convoy makes no sense whatsoever. It's not like he's the first generation Transformer.
That's
like
exactly what I was thinking of when I was hearing this.
God.
Like, why are they calling him G1 Convoy? What do they know? Like they grew up with the G1 Transformers and they just know him as G1.
I was confused by that. I didn't know why they were calling him that, but now you bring light to that. Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. So, but I mean, they don't really have another choice because his name is just Convoy. So, like, they're all convoys. They're not just going to say Convoy only. So that's why I just wish there was like they all had their unique name. Like Optimus Primal makes sense, but I don't know what would you call all the other different versions. They're just Optimuses. So
hey, season 3 Optimus.
At least there's there's Reverse Megatron and Beast Megatron. I mean, that makes sense.
I don't even know who those are from.
I have never heard of Reverse Megatron ever. Like
the thing I don't understand is he's called Reverse Megatron, right?
Reverse or Rebirth? I thought he was Rebirth.
It's Reverse Optimus and Rebirth Megatron.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, sorry.
Reverse Optimus.
But the thing that doesn't make sense is I don't know which Megatron this is. Is this G1 Megatron who turned himself into a tank during the G2 storyline? Or is this Beast Wars Megatron, Beast Wars 2 Megatron, who's just a recolor of Gen 2 Megatron anyway, from that show? Because Lio Convoy is there from Beast Wars. It would make more sense if it's his Megatron instead of G1 Megatron, I would think. But also, it's not as exciting, I would think, for fans to see G1 Megatron just look like a tank and not himself. So
Reverse Optimus doesn't sound good.
I mean, at least from the TF Wiki, it seems like Reverse Convoy, Reverse Optimus was created just for this OVA.
He didn't even get a figure?
I've not seen a figure. The only footage, there is a figure. Sorry. There is a figure, came out 2004, the Reverse Convoy figure.
We do not approve of looking up stuff while recording the podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, it seems like he was just created for this whole bit. So yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Do you want to get a sidetrack for 1 second? This episode I thought was funny is it opens, the beginning sounds like the opening Star Wars Happy theme music. Like it starts to do that rising action that sounds like it's going to go into the Star Wars music, and then it becomes something else. And I was like, Oh yeah, this is off to a great start. But it just I just loved G1 Megatron kicking Optimus and him spinning in this really awkward spinning motion into the cliff. It was really hilarious.
I missed that part.
But I really thought it was funny. Both Optimuses come together and make an attack, and it looks exactly like the Autobot symbol. I'm just like, really? All right, we're going this ridiculous now.
What was happening when someone was yelling out, "Hey, your insignia," like so what? Because they never came back to it in the next couple of scenes. Like, what was happening with the insignia?
Oh yeah, the insignia, because it's the maximal symbol. So Optimus Primal recognized it and wondered why he had that symbol. So he recognized him as an ally.
Oh, I thought they already recognized each other as allies.
Because he has an Optimus faceplate, so he must be an ally,
Yeah,
right?
duh. It's like, oh my god.
I
mean, everyone knows when you go into war, if you wear the same outfit as the other person, they know you're a team member already.
I thought there was going to be some kind of crazy insignia attack. Like, there's going to be, like, this thing, like, some light blasting out of that thing, and they're all
Well, they did that in the second
and...
one. Like, when they have the Decepticons also get their energy together. And I'm like, how are they going to win? It's 2 Megatrons versus 4 Optimuses. Except for poor God Ginrai / other Lion Convoy. God, what is his name again?
Victory Lio?
Victory Lio, yeah. So, cause I didn't realize, I thought Victory Lio vanished. I'm like, he just suddenly showed up and then vanished the rest of the first episode. And I was like, what did he contribute? And I completely forgot that in the show, Victory, he is remade and becomes a part of Saber to give more power to Saber. And that's what happened in this show too. And I completely forgot because it's just like, I can't focus on what's going on all over the place.
I mean, the way that first OVA was cut, it was, everything was just going so fast. And for me, with these different characters and then combining and just the different names, since I only watched the Japanese one, so like it was, yeah,
we watched the fan dub version. The fan dub version exists of these. It's actually pretty decent job. In fact, they get 2 people actually try to channel the G1 Starscream and Beast Wars Megatron and G1 Optimus, whereas the others I think are just doing kind of their own thing, especially since most of them didn't have English voices. So, but the funniest thing is when they're powering up their attack with the shield, G1 Optimus just looks around as they're powering up their weapon and he goes, "Megatron's gonna get it." And I just like cracked up because it's just the most hilarious thing to hear Optimus say.
That's funny.
But no, I definitely recommend people out there listening like to check out the fan dub too. You will have to watch it at 380p because it was made a long time ago. I recommend watching both the raw and the fan dub so you can see it in better quality but also understand what's happening in the story.
I found that the fan dub was, Thomas was saying that the Japanese version was like high speed. I felt like that was almost natural because I watched the fan dub first. And it just seems like there's a tornado of things just happening, just characters thrown together, fight. And I was like, what is going on here? On the Japanese version, something just seemed like, okay, that's the way it's supposed to go. So it seemed like it was definitely kind of meant to be like that. Like, this is a Japanese promo for Transformers characters that are coming out in toys. And I kind of followed that, but yeah, for the fan dub version, it was just like, whoa, you're throwing stuff at me. I cannot keep up with all this.
Yeah, I was always watching it. I was like wondering what you guys are going to think with all these random Transformers you don't know just suddenly appearing and fighting, except for like Beast Wars and regular. I don't even call him G1. I just call him regular Optimus.
Non-Bizarro Optimus.
So what was up with like Beast Wars Megatron just making a huge jobber out of a regular Optimus? He just like picked him up, threw him on the ground, and it was just over. And like the other Optimus had to come in to like save the day.
I thought he was on that cliff. Is this from the first one?
From the first one, yeah.
Yeah. It was just it was because that fight's over. It can only last 15 seconds. Then you got another fight. Come on, you got to keep up.
They made him look bad.
I couldn't tell who was winning.
So another funny thing which I caught in the. It's kind of funny in the dub, but it actually does exist in the subtitle version. Rebirth Megatron goes up there and joins Beast Wars Megatron and goes, "Oh, we are double Megatrons," or something stupid. And it's like, this just sounds stupid. And then all the Optimists are standing up there and going, "We need to fight double Megatron." I'm like, that is the stupidest thing to call him.
Oh
And I'm
yeah, in the
like,
Japanese version, they were screaming double Megatron like 50 times, and then they
oh no,
made
it was
triple.
just twice.
They made triple
Okay.
Optimus, and then that was happening a bunch of times.
Oh, really?
In
Oh,
the Japanese,
no.
yes, they say triple Optimus like multiple times.
And poor Victory Saber shows up in the second OVA to basically like not do anything because the focus has got to be on all the Optimuses now.
Well, I mean, he had a little part, right?
Yeah, he had a
'Cause-
mini part, like to show
Yeah.
up and like shoot something, but he was a lot more prominent in the first one. Whereas the second one didn't actually introduce anyone new. It only introduced no, that's
the
wrong. It
characters that were
introduced
in the first one.
Yeah,
Oh
well,
no,
actually,
they
it
had
introduced-
reverse convoy in it.
Yeah, I was about to say they introduced Reverse Convoy / Rebirth Megatron and Lio Convoy, because Lio Convoy only showed up as a brief cameo at the end of the first one.
You know,
So were you guys tricked by Tank Optimus? Did you think that was another Optimus?
oh no, you're talking about the little guy, like the green one that popped up, or something else? Because I
No,
was like,
the tank,
"Oh."
the guy who's clearly got a tank chest, who calls
Okay.
himself Reverse Optimus. Did you guys think that was another Optimus you didn't know about? Were you actually surprised when it turned into a Megatron?
I thought it was a different
Oh,
character. Like it just like, okay,
yeah.
here is another Decepticon, and then at first I was like, well, who is this tank guy? Like, why aren't they saying he hasn't had a name yet? And then all of a
I thought it-
sudden, the head changes to a Megatron head.
I just thought it was Star Saber. I was like, well, that's why I didn't know who Star Saber is. He was really a Decepticon. I mean, just...
Yeah, because at one point, Beast Megatron was flying on something, and I was like, who is this other thing he's flying
Oh,
on? What
he's
is
flying
this?
on Gianto Bomb or whatever his name is, Giant Bomb.
Oh, okay.
Gigant bomb. Okay, is that what
Gigant
that
bomb.
was?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's his plane form, which he has.
Okay, yeah, because I was confused. I was like, I don't remember that from the show at all. Like, what is this?
What was that little green guy that just rolled up during conversation, just popped up, and you're like, what? Who is that? Like,
Is it the bad guy or the good guy?
yeah, I think he was one of the good guys. He might have been on the bad guy side. I couldn't tell what was happening, but there was a conversation, and he just rolls up, and it's like this tiny green guy. It's like a dumpster, and he just pops open. I'm like, oh my god, that's another guy. And he says something, and he curses in Japanese, and then he's like, I don't know, nobody's listening to him for some reason. He says something, and everybody blows him off.
Was this the first or the second one?
I can't remember which one this was in, but it was somewhere deep in it, like towards the middle of the end. But
Okay, because I mean,
so
what you're
random.
describing is making me think of the commercial thing, that the RobotMaster ads and stats video
maybe
that had
it's
the
a-
random clip. Because I guess Starscream was beating up Optimus.
Oh, I didn't watch that yet.
Okay, so what you're describing, Charlie, sounds like it's from that.
Oh, okay, because that was so random.
That I called like RobotMasters ads and stats. I didn't know what it was, so I was just gonna watch it later. It looked like it was just compilations of clips from all the other shows that the figure series is based on.
I admit, I don't know what that video was. It was weird because it seemed like it was kind of just going over the Robot Masters line, and all of a sudden they're showing clips. They showed there's two separate clips, one from G1 and then one from Beast Wars, and it was like they just didn't seem to have any kind of connection to the Robot Masters line. But yeah, I was curious. I wanted to know if you knew what was the purpose of that video.
Oh, see, I was gonna think that we would take like an intermission and watch it because I didn't know what it was either. So I'm just like,
I thought it was promo stuff, but it's just too scattered.
yeah, it's labeled as Robot Masters Episode 1 on this one guy's YouTube site, and he labeled the other episodes 2 and 3 when they're really 1 and 2 on his YouTube channel. So I was just like, he called this episode 1, so clearly it came from somewhere, and it definitely has Robot Masters in it.
I mean, I probably
just
wouldn't
don't know
call
where
them
it came from.
episodes. I probably called them just promo videos, and like promo video 1, 2, and 3. That makes sense because technically they do all seem like this is all promotion for this new toy line, and they could all work for that, like the OVAs and then the stats video.
Yeah, and because that one, okay, so the beginning of the ads and stats actually has the same beginning as episode 1, where it reviews the comic storyline and tells you what the plot is. Then it just goes through all the stats of the toys. I wonder if this was the second thing that was on both episodes afterwards. Because, oh, I see. The middle is the top 5 fights between an Optimus and a Megatron. That's what it's showing. Yeah, it's 5 Optimus Megatron fights, like 3 from the original and 2 from Beast Wars. So that's what that is. And these fights on Beast Wars are different than the 4 fights that are at the end of episode 1 that are just Beast Wars fights, where the first and the fourth are Megatron and Optimus, whereas the other 2 are just random battles in the show.
This is actually just 4 different clips, though. There's not even 5 fights. There's 4 clips. One of the G1 clips doesn't have Megatron in it at all.
Oh, okay. Then maybe it's just 5 fights in general, because I cannot read Japanese to translate the title cards. So
yeah, because it's Optimus versus the Flyers, like Starscream, Skywarp, and Thundercracker.
Okay. I wonder how they would even get these top 5 fights. Do they like ask some fans, just people who were there, be like, hey, pick some fights you might remember and, add them on here so that people have something else to watch that's not just, an ad. So you get the kids more interested by showing them how much cool this Transformers stuff is.
I would know how this was released. Like if it was just like a little free promotional DVD inside of the package.
So the first one came with 1 figure only, and the other came with another figure only, whereas every other figure in the line didn't come with the DVD. You had to buy the only 2 figures that came with the DVD.
Yeah. It's probably the main characters, right? That are maybe like Optimus or something.
I had to look. I think one of them might even be Lio Convoy, the one I would actually want, so maybe I should go track it down.
Yeah.
One thing that was interesting in the fan dub is in the second fan dub, they actually fan dub the comic storyline summary, where it shows comic clips with, so you understand the storyline of the RobotMasters, followed by the commercial, and they even fan commercial, and it was pretty funny. Like, I kind of wish they had done that with the first OVA for the little story summary. But one thing that's interesting is it says this happens during the creation of the Scramble City plan, which means this takes place between season 2 and the movie and is actually in the Transformers G1 continuity. Because the Scramble City plan is a real thing in the Japanese continuity, which is actually in the manga, taking place after season 2, but taking place which culminates with an OVA called Scramble City, which was made before the actual movie came out, so you knew who these combiners are that start showing up in season 3.
You talking about G1?
Yeah, G1. According to the summary, if this is to be believed, this happens during the Scramble City plan, so it takes place between season 2 and the movie of G1. I don't know how it takes place in the Beast Wars continuity, but, that is a problem for another day.
Off topic here, like, what did you guys think of the Japanese Starscream voice?
Why, was it kind of whiny, or was it, like, good?
Kind of boring.
Oh.
To me. I mean, he just seems like a regular guy. Maybe he's more egotistical than, the other good guys or something. I don't know. He doesn't come off like the American Starscream, who's like the center of attention because he's loud and bizarre.
I might have to agree with you there, Charlie, because I didn't think much of it, but then you said boring, and that kind of just made me think. It was like, yeah, I mean, I didn't notice it, so I guess it it was boring.
He was
Compared
invisible.
to American Starscream, then yes, absolutely.
The guy who does the dub for Starscream actually tries to sound like, and actually does a very good job of sounding like G1 Starscream. But I do know that in the Japanese Transformers, they actually make Starscream's voice a character when it was dubbed in Japanese over there. So their take on who Starscream is slightly different than the way we view Starscream's voice.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe he's supposed to be a bad guy who turns good guy or something. Or, I don't know. It's like the American version has him cast as like, totally nuts, totally way out there. This other Japanese version of him is just like, he could be any of the other characters. He doesn't stand out incredibly. So I'm just wondering what he's really like or who he's supposed to be. I guess I'd have to watch the series from the beginning and just see like how they're building him up.
I actually thought that the tank guy who was pretending to be Optimus, I thought he was actually going to shoot Starscream, but no, Starscream evades the blast and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, they're not going to have him just shoot him." Okay. But because I suspected that might have been G2 Megatron, and then he's like, "Aha! I am Reverse Megatron, fooled you." It's like, I don't know what was the point of that, since I all he does is blast someone in the air. I didn't know why he didn't just turn to Optimus and blast the crap out of him while he was, in disguise.
So what's so reverse about him? Did they just reverse the colors on his
Yeah,
his,
the opposite
body?
of a semi truck is a
Like-
tank. That's the
Oh.
reverse.
Oh.
Oh my god. Are you like making that up, or are you just okay?
I was thinking, okay, maybe he has a blue thing around his head instead of the red things on the legs. I don't know.
I don't get it.
So there was actually a very, very obvious King Kong reference, because in the fan dub, I can hear what Optimus Primal is saying as he swings around Tokyo Tower, and he's just like, "Oh, hey, I feel at home here," and I'm like, "Ugh."
Oh my
Rolls
goodness.
eyes.
Come on, man. Remember the robots sunning themselves on the beach in some of those episodes?
If this takes place in the G1 continuity, that means there's 3 major sources of energy that just show up on Earth all the time. You got Solitarium, that exists on Earth that they're doing in this show. I think Kiss Players has all that Legion energy or whatever that's everywhere. And then you have Beast Wars 2, where they're finding Amogalus energy, which is actually all the energy left over from Unicron's destruction that just littered into Earth and then for thousands of years, and then became a viable energy that the Transformers returned to Earth to fight over for.
Is this all supposed to be separate from Energon, or is this all categorized as
Oh no, this
Energon?
is separate energy that an actual
so then
different
there's
energy source.
so then that's 4 energy sources then.
Well, Energon is not actually on Earth. Remember, they convert all of our fuels into Energon. Whereas these are actual sources of energy that they can use in addition or instead of Energon.
Energon's a byproduct. It sounds like Exxon.
I kind of really want to watch. There's still one last show that's not fan translated, and it's Beast Wars 2 Neo, which is the second Beast Wars Japanese show.
Mm-hmm.
So, Charlie, in Beast Wars 2, which was airing in Japan during American Beast Wars, it basically follows on a ruined planet where all the inhabitants are gone, which might or might not be Earth, because a lot of the stuff looks similar to Earth structures. But basically, Lio Convoy and his cast of characters go there because they're investigating, God, I forget, Tank Megatron, who's not the original Megatron, but he's called
Convoy.
Megatron. No, that's not his name in the Beast Wars 2 show. I don't know what his name is. But anyway, he and Galvatron, and that's definitely their names, Megatron, Galvatron. So it's basically Galvatron 2 and Megatron 2, or Galvatron 3, based on whatever continuity. But
why didn't they
and
just
they're
have
the
Galvatron
leaders,
in there?
and they make them like brothers, I guess, in the show, which doesn't make sense because they don't look the same. And then there's also Starscream 2, I guess, who's actually who still wants to overthrow them, but he's doing it in a more subtle way, which is a lot more interesting. And it's just their whole cast of Decepticons and Autobots fighting on this ruined planet, as they occasionally find more Autobots and Decepticons on the planet / toys that join the fight. It's 2D animated, narrated by an anime robot girl and her bunny rabbit robot kid that are narrating from the moon that never get involved in the plot because anime. Oh no, that's not true. They do actually contribute 1 episode in the entire series.
Well, these are like the human characters in Sonic. They just have to be there.
They're there to react a lot, like, "Oh my god, so-and-so did this. Oh my god, so-and-so did this." Like they're there to pad out the runtime or something.
It's so the kids can understand what's happening, because I sure can't.
That show is a lot more comedic based, but it also has a lot of good action and stuff too. And I just liked watching most of it. So it's definitely worth checking out if you wanted to ever check out the first few episodes and see if it'd be interesting to watch now that it's been fan translated. I don't know if anybody's actually fan translating Beast Wars 2 Neo, but I kind of want to watch that someday and see how that show is. Charlie, about the awful Headmasters dubs. Did we mention that last time in one of our recordings?
Headmasters dubs.
I don't think so.
After the Transformers stopped airing in Japan, they wanted more episodes, so they made their own original series that continues from City of Transformers called Headmasters. It never had an English dub in America. It had an English dub in Brazil or South America somewhere.
What?
And the dubbing is just really, really terrible. Like, you can still understand what's going on because they have basic English, but the acting is terrible, but hilarious. It's hilariously bad. I've seen clips, but I've never seen the full episode, even though I have them. And I think you have them too on your Transformers hard drive box, Thomas. I'm surprised you've never just like started watching them immediately. But no, it's just hilarious. I've always wanted to watch those because Headmasters is a really boring show, and that might be the only way that I would be able to watch it a second time. So what did you guys overall think of the action? You actually enjoy watching these two OVAs?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I did enjoy the part where they showed the toys because, well, that was not in the OVA, but that was in the promo pieces that were there. I liked the figures. The Starscream figure, the way it unfurls was kind of cool. It looked like it mirrored what was happening in the cartoon. And some of the toys look like they would be fun to play with, while others look like they would be so cheap they would snap into. So.
Oh my god, Beast Convoy looks pretty awful.
Yeah, one of them was like...
He's got a human-looking face
that?
instead of an ape face. Oh my god. This just looks really creepy, actually.
Oh,
wait,
looking at
this looks like Mirage again. They made Mirage in this series? Oh, hold on, he's called Raji, I guess.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. And let's see a guy named R-Blade. Round Rogue is just a recolor of Rat Trap. I'm like, wow. That Starscream looks exactly like his figure. Wrecker Hook? Wow, what a name. And he's got all these fire blazes on him that Michael Bay Optimus would eventually get.
And wait a minute, Wrecker Hook. Have we heard of this one before, or that's just something they throw out there? Is that just some character that's only for this toy series?
His design looks like it might be new, but I do know a lot of these are just remolds and recolors of existing figures to save money. So they did make some new characters, but they're just basically other people recolored to be a different character. So the character is new, but it looks like a character that might have already been made 5 years ago.
That makes sense. Use the same mold and just, yeah.
Yeah, like I can even tell here one of the Decepticons is one of the Beast Wars 2 people recolored also. Probably more figures than the 12 mentioned on the video, but I've never actually seen figures of these. I do remember when I was in Japan, I saw the gigantic Beast Wars 2 Galvatron, and I was like, oh my god, I should get this, but it would have taken up like a bag. It already had other figures in it and our clothes, and I know we'd already filled up our 2.
I was planning to mail things back when I went to Japan, but I never did. I was like, whatever.
We brought 6 bags with us. We had 2 of those big rolly squares, and then we also had our fold-out duffel bags, 1 each that we could bring on the plane. But we also had 2 other empty duffel bags so that we could buy stuff and bring it back with us. And we had filled both of those up in the 2 weeks. Because we ended up buying like probably 15 figures because we found a lot of Hero Academia figures that were all on sale because the next line was coming out. I think we bought the 2 slime figures. What's the anime? The guy reincarnated as a slime. And I got the record of Grand Crest guy over there in Figma form, which was never going to come up in America because the show wasn't popular. So I was really excited to find that. And then we also found like a Tales of Zillia figure, which was not really in America. So we're like, yes, take this one of the main character from the games. From ReZero, I got 2 Amelia figures, which are both pretty nice.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed by some of the prices in Japan. Like, I was like, oh, maybe I can buy something at a normal Japanese price, like for some of the old anime, but we're actually seeing the real price right here on the internet. So,
Yeah, and one of them, I actually bought three Amelias because one was dressed as in a traditional Japanese outfit, and it was like basically $5 because nobody was buying it, and I'm just like, and Marcel hands it to me and like, hey, and I was like, oh, I've already bought two of them though, and I'm like, sure, whatever, it's $5 American.
but as far as like the stuff that I guess they don't value that we like, I mean, there's tons of stuff that's like super cheap. It's just the funny thing is like the things I want. I mean, they're rare and expensive. I guess have an expensive eye or something.
Yeah, it's funny because we just went over there to look and just buy whatever we felt like buying while we were over there. It was just fun to like, because when we were done with all the main trip of doing the stuff, I think there were 2 days where we were just wandering around Akihabara or this other place, just shopping basically for 2 days and buying all kinds of random stuff. Like we found this one really cool place that was basically just 80s and 90s and occasionally 2000s like leftover stuff. It was a resale anime store that just had tons of soundtracks, art books, toys, everything that was just meant to be a retro store, and it was celebrating its 1 year anniversary when we were in there. And I was like, this is pretty awesome because I actually found stuff that I watched growing up in there. Like I found a Lotus War soundtrack.
Oh yeah, Nakano Broadway was a good place for that. Like they had a lot of retro stuff.
I think that was it. Was that the one with the running guy?
What's
the running guy?
No, that's Denden Town.
Okay, yeah. So south of that bridge, there's actually a little street that's like only like maybe 5 blocks, and we went down there and just like found. I think we almost seemed to spend all day in just those 5 blocks because all the stores were just there and huge, and it looks like there's nothing there, but there was a lot of stuff that we were interested in. So it's like we spent all morning, afternoon there.
There's a lot of electronic shops that were just like old electronics, like that. I don't even know who'd want them. It's like just radios and old TVs and crap, like like mixed in there. I was surprised. I mean, that's what it used to be to begin with, but I was just like, okay, I guess people still have a fascination with this stuff, maybe. Or
yeah, like I found something that it almost looked like a Japanese company that was basically more like a Best Buy. It was 7 floors of just tech and everything. Like one floor was only DVDs and Blu-rays. Another floor was just
about
CDs.
Yodobashi Camera in Akihabara?
No, it was in the same place.
Yodobashi Camera. I believe there's probably more than one, but that
it's a blue logo. I forget what the company's called, but it's just this pure blue logo on its text. And I remember the one area at the top was just video games and figures, and they had just released this whole line of Digimon figures, and I'm like, no, I'm here, I gotta leave, because it was just like they all looked really cool. But I'll try not to buy too much, but no, that didn't happen.
There was just so much there. I see the danger of push manufacturing. It's just overflowing. There's 5 stories to every store. What's the Transformers hub in Japan? I never even thought of Transformers when I went over there. Besides, I took a picture in front of Odaiba, in front of I guess it's a Macross figure, but just like
yeah, didn't they make? Is there a Transformers statue in Japan? Because I know they unveiled one to Michael Bay that they made, but I don't know if it's actually was just a promo thing or if they actually revealed it and it's actually in a city somewhere.
I don't know. Like, I think that figure is Gundam. I don't think it.
Well, no, this was an actual Transformers. I did see the Gundam. That was really cool, because not only did I see it, but then I played the VR game where I'm a tourist who accidentally gets picked up by him to fight things with him. So,
yeah, I don't know what the Transformers place to go is, but there should be one. There should be some kind of Transformers fan base area, but yeah, I didn't even think about it. I forgot.
I don't even know if Takara, they actually have a location that you could visit and things like that, because we had a whole set plan of things that we were supposed to do because we went to this place and it was like a 10-day thing, and then we stayed there 3 or 4 extra days to just do whatever we wanted. Basically, do a lot of just little stuff. And those 3 days, we didn't really plan too much. We were just looking around to see, like, just to relax and just take it in and stuff like that. Because we already had the whole 10 days of stuff that we
Planned stuff.
had
I
scheduled
did the
to go
same
everywhere.
thing. Like I did like a big schedule, like, and then man, like when it came down to it, we only had like 2, actually almost 1 free day. Honestly, we had something scheduled like every day.
And now back to the show.
Yeah, back to the show. Yeah, there's a lot of hey, it's our 50th episode. We can talk about whatever we want now. All right. So
50 episodes. We can finally move on from Transformers.
What? I was actually thinking about that yesterday because I've been watching Batman the Animated Series on my Blu-ray, only watching 1 episode a day. And I actually was like, what if we just reviewed the 2 episodes where he fights the Batman android? It's like, since
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
living robot related.
Which one is
But
that?
no.
Is that the one where it's like the farm or something?
Oh, there was the one where this robot was replacing everyone with robot doubles.
Oh, that's
But
right.
then,
And he didn't know. He thought he was still like Bruce Wayne, but then
yeah, and
I
this
guess
is the sequel to that. Yeah, then one of the robots did make a replica of Batman before the main guy was destroyed. And yeah, this Batman robot wakes up and thinks it's Batman.
Man, that show is so good. It's man,
It
the
is.
plots in the show. It really. There's a lot of diversity, man.
I've been trying to limit myself to just 1 a day. Otherwise, I'll feel compelled to ignore all my other shows and just
Nope.
watch the whole thing all at once.
I've rewatched that whole series probably like 50 times, and I love it. It never gets old to me.
Well, who knows if Batman Transformers will be a crossover coming up, because they've made like 8 years in the last 3 years. They already made the Ghostbusters comic crossover with Transformers. They made a Mazinger Z crossover with Transformers recently. It's like they just started off on a roll making all these crossovers with Transformers now. I do know. Oh, Charlie. So in Japan, even though it's only a text and not a comic or show, they did make a 4-part Evangelion Transformers crossover somehow.
Oh no, that doesn't sound good.
I think it's like
Thomas?
I think it's the equivalent of like 10 pages.
Oh,
It's really
God.
just supplementary text that was on I think a website. I don't even know if it came with figures or anything, so I don't really know.
So it was official, not just a fan.
Oh no, yeah, it was official. So that means it can be reviewed on this podcast. So maybe episode 100.
Because Japan they have to push the envelope all the way to the edge. They just can't.
So here's the thing: if you guys wanted to see an actual Transformers crossover, what properties would you actually want to see them crossover with?
G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Contemporaries.
Well, they never have actually done animated crossovers. They have done multiple comic book crossovers with G.I. Joe.
Oh.
So they made one in the original comic line, but I do remember reading the Dreamwave crossovers back in the early 2000s, and those were really fun. And I think they've made a new recent one that's in an 80s art style that lasted like 20 issues or something.
Do you have a crossover idea, Thomas?
I don't know. What did the old monster truck circuit back in the day have a name? Why don't we have like Transformers like monster trucks or something like that? Like have
What are you talking about?
you can have like Soundwave go up against like Gravedigger or something.
Oh my God. I used to love monster trucks when I was a kid, and I totally forgot they existed.
All I can remember now are the ads, like this Thursday, see the giant blah 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 blah, and also look at the dinosaur T-Rex monster truck, and it's just like breathing fire. It's like coming to the Charleston Civic Center this Sunday or something.
I mean, that would be cool, right?
So it's got to be live action and really, really low budget and fake though. So
that popped in
makes
my head
sense.
because I had been thinking about the commercials and just monster trucks in general lately for some reason. But yeah, and I was thinking, I was like, would I go to a monster truck show today? Like, was that something I would do? But if there's a Transformers monster truck show, I would go.
I have the worst crossover idea for you, Thomas.
What's that?
Transformers Micro Machines.
Micro Machines. Oh my goodness.
It's like Like the
That
micro
sounds.
machines are even smaller than the minicons. So
You know what? That sounds totally awesome, though. Like the Transformers get shrunk down to micro machine size, and then you can transform them in your hand. You know, they're like super tiny. That's what I'm thinking. Like, ooh, I want to play with those.
I was just thinking the micro machines would be having adventures inside the Transformers body, you know.
Oh, what was that movie called? Where not Osmosis Jones. That's one of them, but like where somebody goes inside of a body.
The Fantastic Voyage.
Yeah, the Fantastic Voyage, or you know, the Magic School Bus. They went in a kid's body too. So, but
We can
Back-
do Transformers X, the Care Bears.
My God, that
At
would
least
be
that's-
hilarious because it would just be funny to see the awkwardness and just the confusion from like Megatron and the Decepticons.
I just feel like it has to go with something from that same era, or wouldn't count.
I mean,
it's
to
a
do it, it would probably just be like a regular Transformers episode, except all of a sudden here are the Care Bears, and Megatron is like, well, we need to harvest their Care Bear energy or something.
No, then you'll have tortured Care Bears, and then kids won't want to watch it.
And then Murky and Lurky show up, and of course, they have to join Megatron because they like gray and metal, old things, and damp. So then Rainbow Bright has to like sprinkle some.
I was just wondering, thinking of that when you said Care Bears 2 is Rainbow Bright, but I don't remember it being as in your face as Care Bears about all the.
Yeah, Care Bears
Hope
had
and
some
love and stuff.
serious rainbows, man. Those rainbows were like glowing, like bam. Though Rainbow Bright is about rainbows, it seems like the rainbows were duller. They weren't as.
Though I do remember in 2007 they did make a Marvel Avengers Transformers crossover, and then Iron Man had a Transformer-sized iron suit that he had been keeping just for this occasion, and it was just all of them somehow fighting the Transformers somehow. And it's in the continuity of the actual Marvel comics. But I just remember that was the first time I actually saw a major, well, other than Spider-Man showing up one time in the original comics line from the 80s, back when they thought they were going to merge the Transformers in with the actual Marvel universe back in the day.
What if they made a movie that had like a today's summer movie that had the Transformers and the Avengers together? Would that be a toxic combination, or would that work?
I just saw yesterday and just glanced it over that they actually made an announcement that they actually are going to work on a new Transformers movie. Like they just
Is
named
this
a
gonna be
director, I think, or an
separate-
actor.
Is this going to be separate from the Michael Bay stuff, or separate
I'm not
from,
sure. I
Bumblebee?
thought, yeah, there's a release date of June 2022. Let's see what this is. Wow, I'm behind because this is from May 2020. But I'm pretty sure I just saw on my Yahoo like thing when I was checking my mail. So who knows what that's going to be. But Charlie, have you checked out, or are you interested in checking out any of the Netflix Transformers that just came out?
I saw like an ad for those, and yeah, I had just glanced at. There's so many things that Netflix is just popping up. I'm like, I kind of want to see that, but I just haven't had time. I haven't had time to watch any of it. Yeah, I did notice that. I was like, oh, then they're rebooting some other stuff. I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's my jam, and I couldn't remember I can't remember what it is, like off the top of my head, but they're just like trying to bring a bunch of stuff back at once. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, they're revamping the entire Transformers franchise. Thank God.
Wow.
By making two simultaneous movies at once, one which will probably be a main and another a spinoff. All right, so who knows what's going to happen, or if that'll get canceled again because of everything that's happening with COVID and movie theaters and all that. But yeah, the Transformers thing is interesting. It's a lot more dark than you would expect. It's like written very more for adults who grew up with Transformers, so they can now watch a more adult version of Transformers.
Cool.
The only unfortunate thing is it's only 6 episodes, followed by another 6, and then another 6, and then it'll be over. So I'm like, it doesn't seem like a long time.
Well, if the story is good enough, I think it would, hold its ground. I mean, usually a good story can be concluded in 12 episodes, especially if it was like maybe an hour long each.
It's pretty interesting because it's like looking at the war on Cybertron and how it's near the end of the days of the war on Cybertron, like basically. because both sides have lost so many people. And it's like, is this war going to continue? Is it going to destroy the planet? All this stuff. That's not really what happens, but just letting you know, like, the context of it. And it's just going forward with that. And it uses a lot of influence from the actual Generation 1. A lot more female Transformers in there, too.
I just thought of a really horrible crossover.
Oh, no. Tell us. Tell the world.
Transformers and 80s Dungeons and Dragons. That would be terrible.
They already made the Ghostbusters crossover, which just seems like
Oh,
so
that would
out
work
there.
too.
I read the Star Trek crossover, though. That one was interesting.
Ghostbusters and Transformers. Okay.
You know, it'd be really funny if they were made like some kind of Voltron crossover, because that seems like the most kind of obvious crossover. So
They fight the ghost of Megatron or something?
in what? In where?
I mean, the Ghostbusters with the Transformers.
Oh, okay.
They're a common enemy. Like,
Oh, wait. Starscream is a ghost. I'm pretty sure maybe that's what they use. But then, no, if it's G1, then probably not, because Starscream's still alive.
Well, since you're continuing to give me this opportunity, I have another offering as far as a crossover. Transformers X GoBots. We're finally going to do it.
I was actually going to ask you that. So, Charlie, they've actually made a GoBots movie comic, which basically is the entire plot of the Transformers movie, but told with GoBot characters and how their personalities would have reacted to it.
Oh no! Didn't the GoBots totally suck? Brave Star and Transformers, does that go together? I mean, it's in the future, and it looks like they're on a planet out there. They could fly to Megatron or something, you know, or
remember, you gotta have it cross over. What's with the hottest thing? What's the hottest thing now?
Hottest thing now?
I mean, obviously, if you're talking about it has to be something current, I mean, obviously the first thing that would happen in this initiative would be Transformers X Fortnite.
Oh no!
Because Fortnite, I mean, everything is trying to be a Fortnite crossover.
They're getting so many skins from all these properties now, aren't they?
Yeah, they had Street Fighter in it. Street Fighter. You're gonna have Ryu and Chun-Li running around with guns.
That sounds okay.
How much money are they making that they can just keep paying license fees to include all these properties in the game?
I mean, because Fortnite's so big, I think people just want to put their stuff in there for free advertising.
I think they still have to pay a fee. Maybe they just like lower it.
Well, nah, they probably don't have to pay a lot. They probably take their numbers and shop it around, and people are like, "Oh, we want to be a part of that," and they just jump onto it. I mean, because it's so big right now. So
you got me looking up the Fortnite crossover skins to see like which ones are.
Do you want to take a break to watch the?
Oh no! Wait, there's an image on the Ghostbusters crossover. It is them going after the ghost of Starscream. I enjoyed the RobotMasters. So there's a comic book / manga, and then there's also a 3D comic, which is also separate from it because it's also its own mini continuity or something. I don't know. But neither of these are fan translated. I don't know why something like this crossover with all of these things had never been, except for that fan dub I found. I don't know why these comics had never been translated. Thomas, I think I told you before, they officially translated all the Transformers manga into 3 graphic novels that you can now buy.
What you mean all the Transformers manga? You're talking about like for G1? That series?
Yeah, for G1 they collected the G1, which takes place between season 2 and 3, which is just random adventures. Transformers season 3 following Rodimus and all that stuff. The Headmasters, Victory 1, and the Master Force 1. And so all of those have been compiled into 3 graphic novels. All the G1 stuff. You know, everything but kids players, but that's understandable because who's going to buy that?
How is it? Like, is it kind of like faithful to the series? Do they change stuff or?
Oh my God, yes. So in the first issue, they go to Japan to stop Megatron. So they leave a few robots in Japan because he's after energy over there. So that way it can always follow this human kid with the Transformers. And they do a lot of random stuff that makes no sense, like Optimus and Ultra Magnus will show up and it'll be like, Optimus Magnus double kick as they kick Megatron in the face. I'm like, it's just them kicking from the air, but okay. almost like making fun of combiners when like 3 of them are just standing on top of each other and spin kicking, and I'm like, all right, sure, whatever. But yeah, but they're really short because they're only ever 8-page or 10-page stories. So, and they're one and done. I mean, I've always had the fan translations, but I just never got around to ever reading them. So now I'm actually reading these because these are like the official ones, and I've always wanted to like check them out since I've actually watched the shows for all of them.
So this is all original stories?
Yeah, these are all original stories that were actually made in Japan during the time all the shows were airing.
How much of Shockwave is in it? Is there segments where he's like trying to guard the bridge and
Oh my
failing?
gosh. There is no Shockwave, okay? No Shockwave.
Oh, well, that's terrible. What's the point?
But yeah, no, it's just kind of cool that they would release these and finally get these in print. Thomas, you can watch a review. If you go to Comic Tropes YouTube channel, you can watch a review of the Kiss Players manga to see what the actual story is for the 3 manga that was made for them.
If I ever want to do that.
Because he actually translated the 3 manga so he could read it and review it and tell the world exactly what these stories were about. And they're really awful, such bad stories, especially with all the bad, art, which Charlie will save you for now and expose you another day. So
yeah, keep it up. You're really selling me on it.
If you click on off topic, you'll see that I've already discovered the
yes.
substance.
That girl's actually supposed to be like 22, but she was drawn in a chibi style, and yeah, they're always losing their clothes somehow. But
there's some kind of, I don't know if that's an electrical demon or a.
Oh yeah, just ignore it.
Underskirt ghost or something.
But no, it's just really funny. The episode is pretty funny because I was just like, okay, this is actually what the story is about. These are so ridiculous, like what the plots are in them. Because all these,
I agree with Thomas's emoticon. That's exactly the way I feel about that.
Just wait and see if you want to record 8 years, 10 years from now, and if we're still on the air, and then someone fan translates these, then the radio dramas. Then maybe one day we'll listen to those.
We have nothing else to cover.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's painful. I just read the description and I'm like, I don't know how.
Yeah, it sounds like fan story, fan art, doesn't it? Not actual legitimate stuff.
Sadly, I see that it's associated with, it looks like some kind of mass-produced product, but it just
Well, here's the bad thing: the stories actually take place in continuity and fill in plot holes throughout the series. It's still
no. I mean, I don't care.
That's
It can try to justify its existence all at once. I don't care.
Then we'll have a separate Thomas continuity where Kiss Players doesn't exist.
That's right.
Yeah, we can pretend this doesn't exist.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything else to mention? Or are we done with RobotMasters for now?
No.
Thanks for joining us here on our 50th episode and for our look at RobotMasters and our tangents. Signing off, this is Sean.
Charlie.
Thomas.
And together we are...
Sparkcast.
We would say together we are, and then all 3 of us would say Sparkcast at the same time, and I forgot. I never told you about that.
Do we want to redo it?
Sure. Okay. All right, and together we are Sparkcast. Want to try that one more time?
Hey, come on, man. We never get it to line up right. That's supposed to be the bit, Sean.
In our entire time in the past, I think one time we got it really right.
We got it.
And I was like, because I was editing it and I was going like, oh yeah, we nailed that one.
We could put all of our voices together at the same time.
Yeah, but that's cheating.
Oh, you don't want to cheat. That's what editing is all about.
Oh, fix it in post.
Perfect. Every single episode. Perfect.